It's my tiniest kit ever. How much gear can I possibly fit inside this? Hey guys, it's Jera with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back everyone, and welcome to all of our new viewers. Today I'm going to show you how I put together a mini survival kit. This is along the same lines as those Altoid Tin kits that are so popular, but I wanted a container that was a little bit more attractive and a little more me. So I put this together in a case that I already had that is similar in size and shape to an Altoid tin. Now it took me quite a while to come around to the idea of a mini kit. If you've watched my channel for a while, you probably realize this about me, but I am not a minimalist. I am pretty much the polar opposite of a minimalist. I like to have all the things, but I do like tiny things and mini things, so I decided to try my hand at a mini kit. One of the biggest benefits of these mini kits is that their small size allows you to keep them with you very easily. You could tuck it in your pocket. Ladies, you can stick yours in your purse. It can go in a backpack, a diaper bag, stash one in your car, your desk drawer at work, and so on and so forth. So you can always have it with you. Because the best, most complete kit in the world isn't going to do you any good if you don't have it with you when you need it. There are lots of different types of mini kits you can put together. It could be an EDC or everyday carry kit, or more of a worst case scenario, in case of emergency, survival kit. Or it could be anywhere in between. They can stand alone or be used to augment or back up larger kits. What kind of a kit did I put together? Let's dive right in and check it out. So this is the case that I chose. I have a few cases just like this in different colors and stuff because I really like this case. I believe it's considered a lipstick case. Technically, you can see this one has lips on it. So this is what it looks like when it is empty. It's got a fabric lining and it's got a little mirror, which is kind of handy. That could be used to look at yourself. It could be used to reflect light and signal. Lots of different things. That's one downfall of this type of container compared to an actual Altoid tin or another tin, is that the tin being metal could be used as a container for maybe some food or some water. You could actually probably cook in it technically, but I prefer to use this container. And I will have links to everything that I show in the video down below the video in the description. I also like that this has this little handle attached to the zipper with a little clip and a key ring, so you could attach this to something or you could attach something to this if you wanted to cheat a little bit and have some things that didn't fit into your case. I did not do that, but this is packed really solid. This is really tight, so when I open this up, everything is gonna kind of come popping out. So let's see what we've got inside. So the first thing I've got here is the single package of hand sanitizer. Of course, if you needed to clean your hands or take care of some germs, and that would be especially the case if you had to treat a wound or do some sort of medical care. But keep in mind that hand sanitizer can also be used and do double duty as fire starter, for instance. And when you're really limited on space with a kit like this, you definitely want to have things that can do some double duty. And next I have got one little towel tablet. This is a compressed towel tablet. If you get a little bit of water on these start to come apart and open up and come into a big cloth. So this could be used for cleaning purposes, but it could also be used for something like toilet tissue if you had to go to the bathroom and you needed something like that. This could have several different uses. They are pretty strong and you could dry it and reuse it if you needed to. And next I have a little button cell oil-filled compass. This came in a set of several, and I tested them out to see which one seemed the most accurate before I used it. It's probably not the most accurate compass you can get compared to some bigger, more technical ones, but it's better than having nothing if you get lost and you need to find your bearings. Here I have got probably the most valuable tool in the kit. I'm going to go ahead and slide this out of the way so you can see what I'm looking at here. This is a small multi-tool that fits inside of a small kit like this. This is a Gerber Dime. I really like this multi-tool. I have a couple of these. It's like any typical multi-tool. It does have a pliers here that is a pretty good pincher. It has a bottle opener, and of course it does have a ring if you wanted to attach this to a keychain or something like that. It's got several different tools. If I can get this out without breaking my nails. It's got a file and a screwdriver. This right here. A little teeny pair of scissors, which cuts pretty well. It's very small, but it does work. We've got this right here. And of course a small blade. Now I do have a blade that I has a clip that I carry somewhere within my clothing that I have on me all the time. So this would be a backup, but this is a good tool to have. And next I have got a light. That's going to be really important to have some source of light. This is an Olight. It's a little mini light that runs on a AAA battery, so it's just about the size of the AAA battery. I debated between several small flashlights that I have, and this is the one that I chose for a couple of reasons. It's probably the brightest of the ones that I tried, especially for the size. It's light, it's the perfect size, and a battery is going to last a long time as long as this doesn't accidentally get turned on, which it has a twist to turn on, so it's not going to get accidentally turned on inside of the case. The battery will last quite a long time. I don't have to worry about it losing its charge like I would with a rechargeable flashlight. And in a situation where the grid was down or something like that, it would probably be easier to find extra batteries somewhere than it would be to find a place or a way to recharge the flashlight over and over again. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights off. It's not going to be super dark, but I can give you a little look at how this guy goes. This is a good bright flashlight. And then next I have a little mini first aid kit. Now there's not a whole lot that you can do in such a small space for first aid. I have quite a few different first aid kits. I have my mini EDC first aid kit that I always have in my purse or on me. We keep first aid kits in our car. We keep them in our backpacks and in our kits and everything. So this is just a very small, if you happen to be caught with nothing, if you were in a dire emergency, if you ran out of all the supplies in your other kits or whatever. This is just a little plastic jewelry bag that I got from Walmart. I will link those down below, and I will show you what I've got inside of here. Starting with a few different Band-Aids. I did fold these Band-Aids to be able to get them to fit into that bag because I just wanted them all in that bag. I didn't want them sticking out, so I've got a couple of Band-Aids. And then I think this is one of the most important things in this kit, and this is a packet of Celox hemostat bloods. This is bleed stopping granules or powder. So I think this is a really important thing to have. I did fold the corners of the packet over just to make it fit neatly in there. In my opinion, Band-Aids are kind of small potatoes. If something can be treated with Band-Aids, it's probably not really an emergency. So I thought this was something that would be important to have, and it would actually fit inside of this kit a lot easier than something else like a tourniquet, for instance. But I did just realize after I put this kit together, there is a tourniquet that probably might have fit in here, and that might have been a good choice, so I may end up adding that. I have a couple of alcohol prep pads in here. Of course, this would be for cleaning tools that you were going to use, cleaning a wound, and remember, double duty, these also make a good fire starter. I have a single packet of triple antibiotic ointment. This is basically like Neosporin if you needed to treat a wound. I do have a couple of butterfly bandages in here. The medications that I included, I only included a few that I would consider the most important to have. There is a Benadryl for any kind of allergic reaction. There is an anti-diarrheal medication, which could be very important if you come down with diarrhea. That could cause dehydration, so I thought that was important. And there is a pain reliever. This one happens to be Aleve. That's just the one that I chose because it's the longest lasting. But if you put together a kit like this, you would choose whatever pain reliever you typically take. And then the last thing here is a couple of Aqua Tabs. These are water treatment tablets that you could use to treat water that you found if you weren't sure of how safe it was. You would obviously need some sort of a container to put these in, which you may have on you. You may find something in the environment wherever you are, or I do have one other thing in this kit that I'll be showing you a little bit later that might help out with that as well. So that is our first aid packet. And next I have this little fire and tools packet. This is a really small packet. This is a little bit stronger than this baggie. This is more of a PVC type of material, I think. And what I've got inside of here are, I have a couple of birthday candles. These could be used for a little bit of a fire starter or something that's going to stay lit a little bit longer than a match. If you get trick candles, they're even better because they will relight if they get blown out. I do have some waterproof matches in here. I put in 6 waterproof matches, and I just have them alternating so they don't rub against each other. I included a striker panel from a box of matches. This is actually a fire striker, like a little mini ferro rod. This came from, well, actually it's an accessory for that you purchase separately for like a Swiss Army knife, how they have the tweezers that stick into them, which are kind of useless. You can replace it with a fire striker tool, and so that is where I got this. This was just a really good small size that would fit in this kit really well, so that's why I'm using this. And this could be used in conjunction with some of those metal pieces on the tools to create the sparks. I have a couple of homemade little fire starters here because this was the smallest little package that I could come up with. So what I did here is I just melted a little bit of petroleum jelly, Vaseline, and I took pieces of cotton ball and saturated it with the petroleum jelly, and then I stuck it inside. These are short pieces of drinking straw. And so I sealed off the ends of the drinking straw with pliers and a lighter, a flame, to melt that together. I stuffed the petroleum soaked cotton balls into the straw, and then I sealed the other end. And so you can use these as fire starters. You could cut them open and pull out the fire starter, I suppose, but I just light the whole thing and it works really well. And I put it all in the straw just basically to keep everything clean. It was kind of a messy project, and having petroleum jelly in your kit would be pretty messy if it was just loose. So I enclosed it in the straw to keep everything kind of neat and clean. And these are a couple of super tiny little glow sticks, light sticks, chem lights, whatever you want to call them. These I love. They're so tiny and cute, and these wouldn't really be enough for lighting your way, but what you could use these for is marking something in the dark. You could mark a pathway, you could mark a hole you didn't want to fall into, you could mark a doorway, you could stick this into something that you wanted to be able to see in the dark and keep track of. And then just a couple of extra tools in here that could come in handy for something. Safety pins, paper clips. You might need to attach something, repair something, you know, hold your clothing together. You could bend these paper clips and use them to retrieve something. If you could hook that onto something with some string. Lots of different things you could use these tools for. So that's what's in that little pouch. And next, I do have a mini Bic lighter because honestly, I would much rather just use a lighter instead of using all of those other things I just showed you. But you need to have multiple layers of your systems and multiple backups for your backups. If something happens to this lighter, it got, you know, drenched and wet, or the fuel got released, or it just stopped working, lost it, dropped it. You want to have multiple different ways to light your fire. And next, I've got an emergency whistle. If you were lost and you wanted to be found, or you were trying to communicate with someone that you were with, then this would come in handy. It's always important to have an emergency whistle. Here I have a little mini fishing kit. I just put this together with another one of these little PVC bags. It just contains a couple of fish hooks and a length of fishing line and a couple of sinker weights. And this is just, you know, it takes up very little space in there. And where we live, there's tons of different places. There's millions of places you could drop a line in and catch a fish. So this is just a sort of a little emergency fishing kit. If you were hungry and you needed to catch something to eat, you could have something to try to do that with. Next, I have a couple more tools. This is just a nail clipper, obviously. That's a pretty obvious given one for your nails. For hangnails, it can be used to clip off threads, strings, lots of other things. I keep seeing these ultra flat nail clippers, and I never really understood it because I thought nail clippers are pretty small anyways. But now that I had to fit these in my mini kit, I'm thinking I might order some of those ultra flat nail clippers and give them a try. And then I do have this pair of tweezers. This is a really sharp, really good precision pair of tweezers with a little holder that it goes into so that it doesn't poke you or anything in your bag. And this could go right on a key ring if you wanted to, but it's a pretty flat little good pair of tweezers, so I put that in this kit. Lots of things that could be used for. And then here is another tool. This is a super small, extra mini little, it's got a pry bar on it. Right here, it's got a bottle opener. It does have, if you can see, it has some actually those are centimeters. It has some centimeter markings. It has a little ruler on the back. It has a wrench sort of opening here and a screwdriver tip on the end of it. And this is super, super tiny. So this could come in handy for a lot of things. It's very light. It's very tiny. It took up just about no space in this kit. So I thought it was a good thing to have around. Now here is a length of Kevlar cord, and I just have it I just wrapped it up and I put it inside of a drinking straw just to keep it all together and keep it from getting messy and not take up too much space. I do have some heat shrink tubing that I might put on this instead if I think this isn't going to work well. But this is just, it's hard to fit really good cordage in a kit this size. So this is just to have something if you needed to tie something up, hang something up. It's just the bare minimum. And in here are lots of little hidden surprises. So this is just one single sheet of aluminum foil, and this could be used for lots of different things. You could, if you did catch a fish or something, you could use this to cook over a fire. You could use this to fold or fashion a small cup or a small pot out of if you needed to. It could be used for lots of different things, reflecting some heat from a fire. But tucked inside of this are a couple of little surprises. I do have my emergency cash tucked in here. Emergency 20. I added a 10 for inflation. I feel like an emergency 20 probably doesn't get you very far nowadays, but it's always important to have some emergency cash in all of your kits and all of your places. And then the other thing that I have tucked in here is a little produce bag. This is just from the grocery store. Now, the reason I put this in here, this is super, super ultra light. It takes up no space and has no weight. It's basically free. I mean, every time I go to the grocery store, I end up with a couple of extra ones of these bags in my cart. It folds down to nothing, but it will hold water. If you needed something to transport water, contain water, to sanitize water in, anything like that, you could use this. And it also could be used to maybe protect something like your cell phone or something you needed to protect from the rain or from the moisture. And I think if you wanted to fashion some sort of a bobber or a floaty thing for your fishing line, you could probably take a corner of this bag and tie it up filled with air and tie your fishing line around it, something like that. There's lots of different things that you could do with this. And then the next tool that I've got here, this is called the Wallet Ninja, and I got this in pink. It also comes in black, so if you are not into pink, you can get something like this. This is the 2.0. It added this nail file, which I still have covered up with the protective covering, and also this mirror has the same protective covering. So I am all set with mirrors. These, like I said, could be used for reflecting or signaling. They could be used maybe to kind of peer around a corner or out from behind something if you are hiding. Of course, having all the pink does not help if you're trying to be, sneaky and hiding, but it has lots of different tools. A bottle opener, it does have a measuring. It has lots of different screwdriver bits and cutters and different wrench sizes here. So I thought for the size, this is super flat. It's a credit card size, so it can fit right in here and take up no space. I thought this was a good addition. I also have a length of duct tape, and I just wrapped this around a small piece of paperboard from a macaroni and cheese box. I did leave folded over a corner so that I could get into this. I thought about wrapping this around my lighter, but because the lighter is pink and I didn't want to cover up the beautiful pink lighter, I decided I would just put it around some paper instead. So I've got a length of duct tape. And here I've got some paper, just a couple pieces of paper. It might be important to write something down, to take some notes, to leave a note. So I've got a couple of sheets of Write in the Rain paper. I took them out of a small Write in the Rain notebook. And then I also have a few sheets of Post-it notes here. That could be handy if you needed to stick that somewhere or just, keep it from blowing off of someplace you were leaving it. But a couple of ways to take notes. And next in here, I do have a little P38, I think. I can't remember what these are called. It is a little emergency can opener. It takes up no space, no weight. It's ultra thin. They're super cheap, so I like to keep these in a lot of different kits and a lot of different places. I have used them before a couple of times when I had to, and they work pretty well. And then I also have a few zip ties, just a couple small zip ties here. You could use these to repair something, to attach something, to hang something. There's all sorts of things you can do with zip ties, and these were some that fit right into this kit. I have, to go with my paper, I do have a very small pen. This is a small bolt action pen. It does work very well, and it's easy to use, and it did come with a few extra ink refills for this pen. And it does actually have a loop on it if you wanted to put this onto a keychain or something like that, but I just got this because it was the perfect size to go into this little kit. And the final thing that I have in my kit is this battery charging card. This is a single-use power bank card for a phone. You can see it's very thin. It's a little bit thicker than a credit card. It's maybe the size of 2 credit cards, but still. This is a power card. It's single-use. It has a attachment here for the iPhone, and it has an attachment for the USB-C. So you fold those right out and then you plug it into your phone, and this is single use, and this could come in real handy because if you have your phone on you and there is a network, even if there isn't a network, a lot of times we have things stored in our phones that we can use even when the grid is down. So this could be very, very important. This could be a lifesaver if your phone was dead and you just needed enough power to get by. This would be a lifesaver. And I am planning to do a review of these battery cards and, you know, show everybody how they work, how far they charge your phone and things like that. So really this kit is kind of a hybrid between an everyday carry and an SHTF survival style kit. Many of the tools here could come in handy in your everyday life, especially if this was the only thing you had on you, but they also could help take care of some basic survival needs in an unexpected emergency. With a kit this size, you're not going to be able to include much in the way of food and water, which are really, really important for survival. But depending on the situation, the emergency cache could get you something to eat and drink. In an extreme emergency, food would most likely have to come from foraging and scavenging if this was all you had on you. In an urban setting, the can opener would allow you to open any canned food that you could scavenge. And in a more remote setting, some of the other tools could be helpful for foraging, and perhaps you could even catch a fish or set a snare if you have any kind of outdoor survival training. We have at least the bare minimum for collecting water and making it safe to drink. This kit does include several different ways to start a fire. I think the ability to start a fire is one of the most crucial elements to survival because it can provide so many things. It creates both heat and light, it can allow you to cook food and sanitize water, and even maybe provide a little bit of protection against wild creatures of the night. It also has many practical everyday applications. I mean, how often have you been asked, you know, who has a lighter or some matches to light some candles or anything like that? We have a light source, we've got a whistle, mirrors, and pen and paper for communication, and even a backup power source. Basic first aid is taken care of over here, and there are various other tools and even a bit of cordage that could be used for shelter building, once again with foraged and salvaged or scavenged materials. I had a lot of fun putting this together. I probably will actually do an actual Altoid tin at some point, just for the challenge. Even if I don't really like the container, I could give it to my son for a gift or something like that. I'm glad to have this little kit full of mini emergency gear. Leave me a comment below. What was your favorite item from this kit? What kind of things do you have in yours, or what would you add if you were to make one? There are so many possibilities. I'm sure I'll be making many more mini kits like this in the future, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a lipstick emoji down in the comments, and check out this video next to see the mini first aid kit that I carry with me everywhere I go. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.